Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And man, we got a show for you guys there today. We got part 2 of the part 1 we put out a few days ago when we was roasting and toasting. But before we get into that, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, recently, we produced the show, right? And in that show, we were essentially reacting to the ridiculous comments that John Morant had to make about how he doesn't have anything to be worried about. We're good in the West. We're going to be beating the only team we're worried about is the Boston Celtics, right? Now, y'all know that the Boston Celtics are in the Eastern Conference, which means that they're basically saying that no team in the Western Conference poses a threat to them, or at least that's how it's going to be perceived. Then what happened? They talked about this on Undisputed, and Shannon Sharpe went off and said, this is absolute delusion. And these guys talk a lot for people that never won anything. And what did we talk about in that show? It was a long show. And tens of thousands of people saw the video, the show that we produced. And the vast majority of them agreed with me, which was that you do a lot of talking for people that don't win. And I said, you have to have results before you start talking all this trash. Otherwise, you look delusional. So what happened? On Christmas Day, the Golden State Warriors, without Stephen Curry, had to go play against the Memphis Grizzlies, who had a John Morant. And what ended up happening? The Golden State Warriors ended up winning that game at home. So yesterday, on Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, they basically asked the question to the panel, which was, should the Grizzlies be embarrassed after talking all that trash and going out there and losing to the Warriors without Stephen Curry? And once again, Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless did not hold back. So what we want to do is we want to play their exact comments that they had to make, and then we're going to come back and give you guys our opinion on this. So take a listen to what they had to say here.
That Memphis fears. Shannon, how embarrassed should Ja be about those comments now?
They should be very embarrassed because they do all that talking and don't do a whole lot of winning. Like I said, if Steph Curry had said this, I ain't got no problem with it. That man's a 4-time champion, a league MVP, a finals MVP, and one of the greatest players I've ever played. If he wants to say, hey, bro, I'm good. We great. We peachy out here in the West. I'm good with that.
Yep.
What has the Grizzlies won? Don't give me this. What's he supposed to say? He's supposed to be respectful of everybody in the Western Conference, considering he hadn't won anything. They keep talking about a dynasty. A dynasty, what banners have you hung? What have I seen up there? Well, I mean, I don't see it. The Warriors can say, we are a dynasty. Mm-hmm. We won 4 championships in 6 years. That's a dynasty. Yep. Or if you want to say the Celtics or the Lakers, and when they were Magic in the 80s, that was a dynasty. Yep. You ain't no damn dynasty because you made the playoffs. Mm. And they keep talking about, we this, we that, we got... I'm like Draymond. Draymond said, I think the word rivalry is thrown around too loosely these days. A rivalry is the Lakers Celtics. A rivalry is us Cavs. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We're competing. That's a rivalry. What's the rivalry between the Grizzlies and the Warriors? One team got 4 championships in 6 years. Yeah. The other team said, we did knock y'all out the playoff, the play-in tournament. What is that? Nothing. So all this, we this, we that, until y'all advance, until y'all get some banners, ain't nobody taking y'all serious. They just like some young dudes just over there chirping.
That is true. They did give the Warriors all they wanted last year in that 6-game playoff round.
But you can't skip. You can't lose to them without Steph and without Wiggins last night by 14.
I agree. I'm not going to make too much of last night because the starters for the Memphis Grizzlies shot 4 of 25 from 3, while in total, Golden State made 18 of 44. They just got shot out of the gym from 3 without the greatest three-point shooter.
Exactly.
Okay. And I also want to make the point, this is almost inexplicable it is inexplicable. You realize the Warriors have the best home record in the NBA and the worst road record.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard. Have you ever heard of that? Because I've never heard of that before.
Well, that's why they're 16 and 18.
Okay, there you go. I used to love Ja. He is losing me this year. I was bullish on the Grizz last year. If you recall, I was riding that band. I was driving the bandwagon. They are losing me because swagger, to your point, is one thing, but just empty boasting and chest beating is quite another. I like their swagger, but you gotta, tie it to some basketball character. You can't go over the delusional edge into thinking you're something that you haven't earned yet because you haven't earned a thing yet.
Nope.
And Ja doesn't seem to realize that because he seems to be a little bit of a victim of social media, and they launched a sneaker last night.
Yeah, nice looking sneaker.
Okay, fine. I give you all the above.
So you heard what Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless had to say. Here are my thoughts on this. I still agree that those are some bozo comments. Only a bozo goes out there and starts making proclamations about something he or she can do that they've never done. That's a bozo for you. 101, number one. Number two, one of the major points I pointed out in that show was that today there are a lot of people running around that have absolutely zero respect for other people. Absolutely zero. And I said the John Morant comments are just a microcosm of what's happening, of a larger, societal issue that we're having. And of course, in the comments of that show, you had these people, mostly dudes, because they're the ones that condone this nonsense, up there saying, man, y'all old heads be hating. I'm 35 years old. Man, y'all old heads, man, can y'all let him live? Can y'all let him live? Y'all need to let him live. He's just speaking his opinion. I see nothing wrong with that. And that's the problem. Here's what happened. When you talk all that trash and you don't back it up, what happens? People are going to be waiting for you to fail, number one. Number two, if you do fail, you look like a bloody idiot. You look like a bloody idiot. And that's exactly what happened in that game. You saw Draymond Green walk by and stick his tongue out at the dude. He couldn't even look at him in his face. He was embarrassed. Do you know why he was embarrassed? Because of all that trash he talked and he didn't back it up. And the question is, why bring that on you? Why bring that on you? A foolish person would tell you, because, well, I'm confident. No, you're a fool. Only a fool would put themselves in a position where they could be embarrassed and then say, oh, I was wise for putting myself in a situation like that. No, you're a fool. You're an idiot. If you're in high school and you feel like you're the toughest gorilla in the jungle, I can beat up this guy and beat up that guy, beat up this guy. I'm the toughest guy. I can beat up anybody. And you run around talking like that. What happens when you meet that dude that knocks your teeth out? Everybody's going to be laughing at you and you're going to be having a whole bunch of humble pie. But if you just kept it to yourself, you kept your confidence to yourself, you didn't go around bullying nobody, you didn't let nobody bully you, you just stayed to yourself, no problem. You're confident, but you're not running around trash talking. And what would be even more clownish is if you had a dude running around talking like that has no history of fighting. We never seen you fight. Nobody knows if you can fight. All we know is that you can run your mouth. We've never seen you take a punch. We've never seen you give a punch. We don't even know if you know how to jab properly. We don't know none of that. All we know is that you talk a lot. That's all we know. And what we know about the Memphis Grizzlies right now is that they talk a lot. That is one thing we know. Do they win? How do we know? I never seen it. Have you? Have you seen it? I never saw it. What championship did they win? What championship did they win? What finals MVPs they got on their team? Who is the guy? I never seen the guy. Who is he? And it's the team that's running around talking all this trash. For as annoying as Draymond Green is, at least he's won. At least he can hold up his four fingers and say, look at the jewelry. At least. But these cats have won nothing. And then you got people running, yeah, man, say it with your chest, man. Say it, be loud and proud about it. Be loud and proud about it. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's like somebody telling you, oh, man, I'm thinking of, I'm going to go into business and I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm going to have this business. I'm going to have this business. I'm going to be doing this. One of my businesses is going to be doing it. Meanwhile, they haven't even opened up a lemonade stand. They haven't even opened up a lemonade stand. Somebody would walk up to them and say, bro, before you do all of this talking, sure you can make at least $100 a month. running this your business before you come up here and start talking all this trash. And then the most delusional part about it is that same person will still totter around and talk about, yeah, I'm gonna be a better businessman than you, than somebody that actually has a business making $1, $2, $3 million a year. Running around talking to that guy. This is the world we live in. It's like we live in an opposite reality. It's like what's right is become left. Literally, the things that you would think is a no-brainer is now actually becoming things we sit up here and debate about. That's where we are right now in reality. Things that we thought would never be a discussion are a discussion today. Do you know why? Because there's always going to be one clown in the back. There's always willing to take the dumb, ignorant side of any argument. There's always one. And if that person is flamboyant enough, if that person is charismatic enough, guess what? He can now build a following. And this is how you create this nonsense. This is what happens. The most idiotic, obscure, obtuse points, you have people today defending them. That's where we are right now. So that's what they get. You saw Klay Thompson laughing at that dude when he was on the ground. He couldn't even look at Klay Thompson in the face. But some people will tell me, oh, that's confidence. No, you are an idiot. That's what that is. The person that's always the loudest is the one that most people want to shut up. Always. The loud trash talker is the one that everybody's going to test because you're flapping off at the mouth. But in this case, these guys have won nothing. Am I saying they're not going to win a championship? No, they could absolutely.